Judge John Roberts struggles to answer Pam Bondi's tough questions. An emotional and inspiring short story, approximate 3,000 words. The courtroom was colder than usual that morning, though no one could tell whether it was the draft or the tension that stiffened the air. Chief Justice John Roberts sat behind the elevated bench, his gavel resting silently, untouched. At 69, Roberts had weathered political storms, controversial rulings, and personal criticism with the polished stoicism expected of the highest judicial authority in the United States. But today, his fingers trembled slightly as he leafed through the case notes before him, because this wasn't just any hearing. Today, he would be the one asked the questions. Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General and a figure known for her fierce advocacy and sharp cross-examinations, stood before him, not in confrontation, but in conversation. It was a special hearing, part of a nationally televised judicial symposium aimed at promoting transparency and public understanding of the Constitution. Instead of lawyers and verdicts, today there would be honest dialogue. The twist? For once, the judges would answer the questions, and Bondi had drawn the name of Chief Justice Roberts. Pam approached the podium, her face unreadable but her eyes sharp. "Chief Justice Roberts," she began, her voice calm but steady, "in the 20 years you've served on the Supreme Court, can you recall a moment, just one, when the law and your conscience were at odds? And if so, what did you choose?" A murmur passed through the room. Roberts blinked. He had been asked about cases, about the Constitution, even about his faith. But never had someone laid his soul on the witness stand quite like that. He leaned back slightly, hands folded tightly. "Ms. Bondi," he said, his voice softer than usual, "there was one moment. And I've thought about it every day since." He paused. The courtroom fell into a reverent silence. "It was a case out of Texas," he began, eyes distant. "A young man, Miguel Hernandez, was charged with drug trafficking. It was a federal appeal over sentencing guidelines. Technically, the guidelines were clear. But what wasn't clear, what never makes it into the briefs, is the human life behind the name on the page." He swallowed. Miguel was 22. Grew up in foster care, bounced from shelter to shelter, started working full-time at 15 to feed his little sister. One day, someone offered him $1,000 to drive a package across state lines. He was caught. The mandatory minimum was 25 years. Pam didn't interrupt. The audience barely breathed. "Now, the Constitution doesn't give me the power to override law based on my feelings. I knew that. Still, I remember sitting at my desk after the hearing, reading his file over and over. A teacher had written a letter on his behalf, said he was the kind of kid who brought extra lunch to school for others. Another letter from his foster mother.